Good afternoon, everyone. We are going to take just about another minute or so to allow people time to get into our presentation, and then we will get started with our social media planning and launch strategies with Haley Segar in a minute. If you are in the session, if you could just keep yourself on mute for us, that would be fantastic. And then, of course, feel free at any point throughout the presentation to unmute yourself to ask questions, and also feel free to throw any thoughts, feedback, anything in the chat as we're going, and we can certainly answer that either live, Haley can, or we can answer questions for you in the chat as we're going. All right. So luckily, we are able to record the session this evening so that we are able to play this back and send this out to our entire CCEI alumni population. So welcome, everyone. This is our second Timely Topics of 2022, and we are very excited to have Haley Segar here with us, who is a UConn alum, a CCEI alum, has gone through several of our programs to help launch her own company, and she will share more about her background, her experience, and all of that with you, but felt like there is so much around social media and strategies to successfully launch your brand, your company, your service, technology, anything that you're creating on social, and leverage those various platforms to help generate interest and buzz around your business. So we thought no better than Haley to help us talk about that. So Haley, would you like to get started?
Absolutely. Thank you, Jen. Yeah, so I'm actually really excited. Well, I'm always excited to be at any CCEI event or webinar, anything like that. But I'm really excited about this topic in particular tonight because it's something I haven't talked about this before, definitely not in a dedicated way. And it's something that I feel like I could probably bring, one of the things I can bring the most value to. So I'm really excited to be able to kind of impart some things that I've learned, let you guys know a bit more about myself and my business, and how, of course, CCEI helped bring that to life. But yeah, so we're going to be talking all about the do's and don'ts, or at least my do's and don'ts of planning your social media launch strategy. So, you know, not just social strategy, day-to-day management stuff. I'm talking about how you're going to announce and lead up to the launch of your business. So that's what we're honing in on tonight. It's something that I think is, I don't want to say make or break, but super, super important to the way that you capture your early adapters. So that is what we will be discussing. And that's my own little branded slide. That is not as UConn-y as the first one. So, so first of all, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about my company, which is OneWith. So we make patent pending direct-to-consumer women's swimwear that fits and feels like seamless undergarments. So the genesis of this idea was almost 3 years ago now. I was packing for a trip and I had probably a dozen swimsuits on the floor, and I literally said out loud, I just want a swimsuit that fits like my favorite seamless underwear does. Because I hated everything I tried on. And in that moment, it hit me that if that didn't exist, I needed to create it. So I went on basically a 2.5-year journey to bring it to market and bring it to life. And we finally launched in November of 2021. So again, it took 2.5 years. CCI was a massive, massive part of that journey for me, and OneWith. And I genuinely say it all the time, but I have no idea where I'd be without CCEI. So I owe it all to them, truly, because would probably still be sketching stuff out in my bedroom if I didn't have Jen and everybody to help me along. So that is OneWith. And we're patent pending. UConn IP law help with that. So it's just very UConn driven. So a little bit about me. Hi, once again, I'm Haley Segar. I'm the founder. A little bit about my background in social media. So I started a YouTube channel when I was 12, and was basically a really active content creator up until the launch of OneWith. So that was my full-time job for about 2.5 years leading up to the launch of OneWith. And I had 7 years experience in addition to that in bridal fashion. I worked in the bridal industry specifically, which gave me a lot of intimate knowledge in working one-on-one with women for a really, really intimate purchase, what they like, what they didn't like, solving problems that they had, you know, for their wardrobe/dress as those popped up. So that really equipped me with a lot of the know-how that I had going into creating One With. So again, UConn IP Law, UConn CCEI helped me so much to bring it to life. So this is just a little about me and the people who have helped me get here. And again, I was in summer fellowship myself, summer of 2020, which is crazy, where I was also a Wolf New Venture competition finalist, and I graduated UConn in 2017. All right, so once again, we launched the brand November 18th of 2021. So about 3 months ago now. Once again, it took 2.5 years from conception to launch. We built it mostly in stealth mode, which is, I was using that term loosely, but Y Combinator actually does use that term as far as startups go, which basically means you're not publicly talking about it anywhere. You talk about it with the people who can help bring it to life, but you're not advertising this on social. That's stealth mode. So that was really important to me. I'll talk a little bit more about that, but I definitely put that into practice. So that was super frustrating in a lot of ways because there were a lot of things I wanted to share, but of course I couldn't. And then one like little interesting tidbit is I announced the concept of One With on the 15th of November and then launched it for purchase 3 days later. So there was not much time in between announcement and purchase, like, you know, being available for purchase, which again, I'll talk about that in a second. So I'm going to start with some of the do's, and we'll go to the don'ts in a second. But I wanted to focus, you know, let's start with some good stuff, some good tips. My biggest tip, and this was my biggest like saving grace, I would say, was by the time we went to launch and announce, etc., I had so much content banked. I mean, multiple video shoots, photo shoots, you know, professional things done that I could make assets with, that I could post on their own. It was overwhelming the amount of choice that I had for how I was going to roll out this product. So, you know, that being said, it is so much better to have high quality assets than quantity of assets. And when I say assets, I'm talking graphics, photo, video, stuff that you'll be posting on social media. And, you know, I kind of pride myself in doing pretty involved campaign and photo shoots for not a lot of money. It's definitely very, very possible when you're just scrappy with your budget. And again, having that content was so important to me. So scrounging your friends up, scrounging whoever up. I know everybody's business is so different. You know, I'm assuming if you're here tonight, it's because you do plan on launching on social. I mean, there's a lot of B2B businesses, you know, that even I participated in summer fellowship with, who might, you know, not be on social. But I'm assuming if you're here, you might have a consumer goods product or something like that, where again, it's definitely conducive for being in tons of content, creating content around it. And again, I know that sounds daunting, like, oh, really good quality, you know, professional quality stuff. Again, you can look for photographers who are looking to build their portfolio, videographers who are looking to build their portfolio. Just getting good lighting and your iPhone camera can do so much. So, and Canva, get a Canva Pro membership. So those are the things that really, I feel like saved me when I was kind of rolling out exactly what I wanted to do, or how I wanted to communicate the brand. The other big do, and this is actually something that another kind of like CCEI affiliate, associate suggested to me like 2 days before I announced, that I wasn't going to do otherwise. And I'm so happy that I did it. And that is incentivizing your early adopters, which might sound really no-brainer, but I'm sure a lot of entrepreneurs here can relate. The things that are no-brainers to other people, we're so in our own silos that sometimes it's so hard to see outside of that. So Ryan Gresh, he's the founder of Feel Good Lab. He was like, you need at least like a 15% discount for launch week. And I was like, hemming and hawing. And like, let me tell you, I would say 99% of orders we got on launch day / week used that code. I think I ended up extending it actually because it was just so good and just helped so much for conversion. So really incentivize the people that are going to be your first customers and sweeten the deal for them to purchase. So, and it can even be a discount that you won't use again for a bit. So if you want to go a little deeper than that. So the other big thing, I know I mentioned the sort of 3-day time span in between announcement and launch. I had been watching for, at this point, a couple years, how other brands, how artists announced their new album, new product, how they rolled things out. And one thing I just noticed was that they didn't have a lot of time between the announcement and the launch. And now keep in mind, I do have a following from, being a content creator, and that's where I announced it. But by the time that you announce, you're going to have a network. And again, sending out that email a few days before you launch formally, that can be your own sort of form of announcement versus launch and that timeline. But and again, even just if you have a smaller social following, it doesn't matter. It's still just putting your idea and your concept and your available for purchase status out there to the general public. So that's a big thing. LinkedIn, etc. So find launch strategies of people that people and brands that you like. How have they rolled out their products? What sort of assets have they used? I have a whole folder, a saved folder on my Instagram of just promotional graphics and videos that I like, that I can look to. Okay, if I am struggling with how I'm going to, we're working on black right now, doing a black color for our swim. And I'm like gearing up for how we're going to roll that out. So I have a bunch of stuff saved on Instagram for inspo. So start doing that. Start finding things that you like and taking note of how people have rolled things out and successfully rolled things out for sure. And then the other thing that I highly recommend, and if you haven't done this yet, you can do it literally right now as you're watching this, reserve your social handles as early as humanly possible. I got the one with swim handle. I actually don't know, but I mean, at least in, the 18 months plus before we launched. Even if you're not posting, reserve your social handles. So any platforms, honestly, even if you don't end up using them, which we'll talk about in a second, just make sure you get your company's name / handle secured, because you don't, and you want to make it as easily searchable as humanly possible. Like, thank goodness we're one with swim and we don't have to be, one _ with _ swim _ or anything like that. I would have loved just at one with, that was taken, which is all the more reason to say, make sure you get your handles and of course your domains early. Some of you may be way ahead of that, but it goes to just say, definitely, if you haven't done it yet, it's easy enough to do. So definitely do it and save all your passwords so that when it's crunch time, you can plan your rollout accordingly. Okay, also you want to optimize your assets, your accounts, your bio, and your captions for conversion. So what does that mean? So we changed our name on Instagram. I don't know if you guys can, if you look super closely, you can see it, or you can pull up the page on your device right now. But our name on Instagram, so One With Swim is our handle, but our actual name is One With Flattering Swimwear. So if anybody's just searching flattering swimwear, we'll pop up. And Instagram is becoming more and more SEO optimized. So it'll also work for us in search engine results, which is really, really cool. Your bio, there's so many great resources online for crafting your bio. But again, the whole point is getting people to your site to convert. Make it easy. Don't let them linger wondering about what you do. It's super, it's super not compelling, tempting for us as founders to put like a cheeky little tagline in there or something. But people don't care about that. They want to know what you do, what you're selling, how they can get it, and if they can get it at a discount or for any sort of easier, more expedited way. So in our bio, the first little emoji, and we kind of broke it down by emoji, is swimsuits that fit like your favorite seamless underwear. Next emoji, patent pending design that's one with your body. I think we actually updated this last week, so I think it's different now. The size range we have, shop now with a link. I think we changed that a few weeks ago to say free shipping on all orders plus Afterpay. And I think we have a coupon code in our bio right now as well. So make it as easy as possible for people to convert. Don't give them pause. What do they do? Why are they here? Where can I buy it? I still sometimes have to send DMs to small businesses asking, especially brick and mortar, where they're located, where I can buy their stuff. And the fact that I have to do that is like crazy. And a lot of people wouldn't even DM, they would just drop off the page and just not purchase. So make it super easy. Make your captions easy for conversions. Shop now on our site. I even just write the name of onewithswim.com in the caption of the post a lot. I was saying we went kind of viral. We went very viral on TikTok today, and it got very, very crazy, which is really, really cool. But people were asking in the comments, like, where do I purchase? And it's so clear, bio and everything like that. So keep in mind, like, you have to really, really simplify it. Again, make it as easy as possible. Another thing about like optimizing your assets, like the graphics that you're posting and stuff like that, like in the days leading up to launch, we were posting like plan your buy, like buy guides, like line sheets. Line sheets is a term in fashion basically for just like pictures of everything in a collection that's offered with prices, basically like a price book. We were posting that in a really curated, pretty way on the feed, but letting people literally see ahead of time, this is what's going to be on our site, and basically tell us what you want and get ready to buy it on launch day. So again, these are the types of things where if you look at other brands and what they've done in the past, you can sort of benchmark them and be like, oh, that was cool. I like that. I could see us doing that. So you can take note of things like that. All right, let's go to the don'ts. Okay, so some of these are going to have caveats. So my first little bullet point here is don't announce too early, which again, this can kind of go either way. There's some brands that, or some people, I should say, that I know were working on products for such a long time that I was like, kind of just waiting for them to just launch it. But I personally am of the mindset that people do lose interest. And by the time things come out, between the time that they first found out about it and the time that something actually launches, they might be like, oh, cool, they finally came out with that thing. Like I would have such a short time span between the hype and the purchase. That's my personal school of thought. But the other sort of statistical, like logic thing to back that school of thought up would be if there's any sort of IP involved in your product. If you guys have IP in your product, be so careful with where you're announcing, posting, sharing anything. I think I maybe shared like a couple things just on LinkedIn, like reposted from CCEI before we went to patent pending status. Because at that point when we were patent pending, I knew we had some protection. But still, I would just be so careful. And again, just err on the side of caution. Once you're at market, you can always go super hard with promoting at that point. But announcing too early, there's short of being a Kickstarter or anything like that, there's, I would argue, not too much incentive. But the other mistake I see being made a lot, and we might have a cameo here from one of my cats in a second, but the other mistake I see being made a lot, she's gone, is people posting random / low quality content when they're announcing or just rolling out their startup or product. And it's like people really take note when something is so well done. It just feels good to people. And it's an opportunity to attract the type of customer that you want when you really put thoughtful, high quality graphics out there. So I know I keep throwing that word around and you're probably like, okay, well, how do I execute on that? Again, Canva is a great resource. I highly recommend it. Start playing around in Canva, making stuff. Again, getting your friends together and just sort of collaborating, ideating on different, ways to represent your product on social. Make it really thought out. You can go back if anybody wants to see like exactly how we rolled out One With. Again, we only launched 3 months ago, but I started by posting little Polaroids of behind the scenes, like just things going on, everything from choosing colors to fittings, leading up to announcing, but I wasn't even really saying the concept yet. I really love the way that we rolled it out. Otherwise I wouldn't be here giving advice on how I think you should do it. But it was a really, really fun way to sort of tease the concept. I should also say that I had like maybe 130 followers on the account. The One With account, Instagram account, when it was private, when we were pre-launch, pre-announcement sort of a thing. And I was just posting for those people. And I figured once the account became public, people could see what I was posting, like, while it was still private, and just for sort of the people that knew me. But, again, that being said, I really did take my time when choosing what to post. So that is that. Okay, this next bullet, don't not have and this is so obvious, but don't not have a social strategy. Again, if you're a direct to consumer business, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I literally for the first and still, I basically decide what I'm going to post every single day. I don't have a crazy, well thought out social content calendar that's done out weeks in advance. I really go with my gut on what to post. And while I had concepts and graphics and photos that were ready to go, I had no no order, no predetermined captions. I just kind of knew the way I wanted it to feel and look to our prospective customers. But I had something, right? And again, the most important thing is content. I had content. So you definitely want to have some sort of a strategy or a goal. If you say, I think mine was like 1,000 followers in the first week. I think it ended up being in the first 10 days or something, maybe 2 weeks. I can go back and look, but it's super important to have something like that and to not rely on word of mouth. I think people just thinking that when they build it, people will come, I think is like a massive mistake. And even then I knew that even with having my audience, from YouTube and Instagram and stuff, I knew that I'd exhaust that platform pretty quickly. And I knew that I'd have to revert to something else, i.e. building an audience on TikTok, independent of my own. So relying on just word of mouth or within a small circle is definitely a don't. So start expanding your horizons and thinking about the ways that you can sort of get in front of new people on social, which leads me pretty well into my next bullet, which is I actually should have worded this differently. Do make an account on every platform. Reserve your handles. You never know. But don't feel the need to have a strategy for every platform. I chose mine pretty early on: Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest. And we feed our posts to Facebook. But we're not really active on Facebook, and you need Facebook to have an ads manager and stuff like that if you're going to ever run ads, but we're not active on Facebook. But you want to go sort of deep and narrow. Don't be like, oh, we need to have a Twitter, we need to have a YouTube, we need to have this and that. Not every startup business, company, whatever, is conducive to those platforms. For example, one of the companies that was a part of my summer fellowship cohort in summer 2020 was Sorcery, and they sourced basically academic documents, and it was an entirely academic crowd that they were appealing to. And where are academics? They're on Twitter. That is a big academic social platform. So that's where they were. That's where they lived. And they just like owned their Twitter. So that is definitely a really good example. Like one with, there's no reason for us to be on Twitter. I'm not on Twitter. There's no reason. But for them, that's perfect. Like Twitter and Reddit and stuff like that. Amazing for academia. So for sure, just pick your platforms that you feel align. And if you're like, what are those? Just start researching. Again, I knew Pinterest would be really good. We're a very visual driven brand. So I knew Pinterest would be really good for us. We're starting up on that. So yeah, but don't feel the need to be like, we have to make a YouTube, and who's running the YouTube and who's doing this. It's so specific to every single company, and also founder. Like I had a lot of resistance to joining TikTok at first. And I was just talking about this before I got on, but the TikTok is going wild right now. So many views, so many orders. It is literally insane. But I also know TikTok comes with like the meanest comments and like the cruelest comments, and anybody who is on TikTok knows exactly what I'm talking about. Even just as a consumer of TikTok, not even a creator. So I had a lot of resistance to that. So me as the founder, someone had to, I have someone that helps me with digital growth, and they had to like really hold my hand through the process. But I'm really big into looking at things holistically. And if you know that you as the founder aren't going to like publishing on a certain platform, A, maybe hold off on it, or B, try to delegate it. So just things to think about. And then my last bullet point is, don't expect, with any sort of social strategy, don't expect an immediate takeoff or immediate rocket launch, amazing house on fire sort of launch. Social and building anything is such a game of consistency. It took me 11 years to go full time as a content creator. Like it's not a short game. You're playing the long game here, and you have to be really, really comfortable with that. I've been posting basically twice a day on Instagram. You have to be really committed to the consistency if you want to see the results. And that's the biggest tip I can give in terms of just a general strategy thing, is just consistency. You can be posting at different times of day, look at your analytics, run those, see what's working, see what isn't. But just knowing that you are, again, playing the long game, and it's probably not going to be an immediate takeoff thing. Unless, again, the caveat to this would be like, maybe if you have a Kickstarter or like a really amazing built-in platform. But again, like one of the things I had to fight constantly, when I would disclose that I was an influencer, I had a audience base, is people would be like, oh, well, you're going to sell out instantly. And I'm like, my audience cares about me doing Amazon stuff and bridal YouTube videos. They don't necessarily care about me at this juncture as a founder. And I knew that. So once again, I wasn't expecting an immediate takeoff. I knew that I wanted One With to live and build on its own. So that's what we've been doing, is just being super, super consistent on our platforms. So those are my don'ts. I think I did 5 don'ts, 5 do's. If you guys want to find us on these aforementioned social strategy launch platforms that I was talking about, the 3 that we chose, Pinterest, TikTok, Instagram, all at One With Swim. Again, that is a testament to me getting in early and making sure I reserve my handles. Everything could be streamlined. onewithswim.com. If you guys want to contact me directly, I'm Haley at onewithswim.com. But that's pretty much it. Jen, did you say we could do Q&A, or what, if there was any?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for your presentation. I'm sure there are questions. None have popped in the actual chat as of now, but we definitely have a couple of minutes if anyone wants to ask Haley any questions. There was a lot of information, and these timely topics are built to be quick, informative, leave everyone with some nuggets and takeaways to go back and implement them into their businesses and start to think about some of this. So I know there was a lot of information presented, and I'm sure we're all just still trying to digest and see how it's applicable to us individually. But any questions from our group here?
Yeah, Haley, I got a quick question. First of all, nice to see you again.
Hi, Zach. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. I'm actually spending the semester abroad in Paris, so it's almost midnight here.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Internet connection isn't that great either, but let's see if I can get my question through to you.
Okay.
So right now I'm trying to build the Kona brand social media, but I don't really have time for it because I'm working on another production run and everything. Would it make sense for me to hire someone to try and run my social media accounts, or is it something that you think that you should handle personally, at least until you have more of a following and more stuff to?
Yeah, understood. I think that if it's something, again, consistency is so big. So if you feel like you can't commit to being consistent and it's important to you to grow via social, then I would say it's definitely worth to delegate it. And as long as you have the capital to do so, then I would. Like, for example, the first thing I delegated, I absolutely hate, capital H, hate email marketing. I couldn't hate it more. I hate every single platform. I didn't even try. Maybe I did. And I hired someone to do that like within like 3 days of launching because I knew I hated it that much and I couldn't be consistent with it. So, and the person that I hired is fantastic. So, and there's honestly really good cost-effective options, Zach. My biggest thing would be for you is just like, because it's product based, is just like how someone would you'd have to like send that person like stuff to like product to be able to, you know, create content with. So sometimes that can be tricky, but honestly I could probably help you with that. But I highly recommend, again, if you feel like you can't be consistent, just delegate it, because that's how you're going to see the most return anyways. So I hope that helps.
Haley,
Yeah,
can I clarify
that's a huge
something?
help. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
You didn't say that you hate email marketing as a strategy. You were saying you hate personally doing it. Okay, because that shocked me when you first said it. I was like, I'm pretty sure Haley would highly advocate for people collecting emails and distributing content that way.
In fact, with the TikTok blowing up today, one of the biggest KPIs, if you will, that I've been checking is our mailing list growing, like even more so than our Instagram, or honestly, this sounds crazy, but even orders. Like I really want to see that Klaviyo list growing. Again, do I want to touch Klaviyo? Do I want to make emails? No, but I want to at least see that we've got our, you know, built-in database that we own, which is really, really cool. It's huge. Email marketing is huge, but again, I don't like doing it.
Got it.
I need to see this TikTok. Like I need to see this TikTok that went viral.
Oh my God. There's a few now. I think we had like 500,000 views today.
And I think that's an example. Like we've heard of businesses on shows like Shark Tank, or right, like something goes viral and all of a sudden they can't keep up with demand, and then there's issues with order processing and like customer complaints, and like reviews go bad, and then like you can't come back from something like that. And so Haley, one of the points that you said that really stood out to me was you were really smart with how viral you were going to allow this to get, and you were in control of it because there was so much you learned November 15th and beyond, those first few months, on how do I package and process an order? How do I handle returns? How do I handle customer questions? And so I think the strategy, while it would be cool to get like 1 million new followers in a day and sell out of everything in the first hour, it's like in realistic terms, like none of us can handle that, especially as a solopreneur, or doing this as a side hustle. So I really liked and value that piece of advice. It's hard to get away from the instant gratification and realize like what can you really handle and what's the long-term success strategy for your business.
Absolutely. And people always caution against that house on fire phenomenon. You want more of a slow burn, because that spike, you know, which is absolutely what we had today, is going to be really interesting in terms of order fulfillment, in terms of what we're going to learn. The TikTok customer is not our normal customer. So this is going to be very interesting. I'm really excited. I'm embracing it. But I had this happen the first week of launch. I don't know. I had no processes in place, really. I was figuring it out and I needed that time. So, giving yourself that grace period isn't a bad idea. And also, like, again, if anybody knows TikTok, you know how quickly it can pop off. I posted 3 TikToks this morning at 7 a.m. and it's been crazy. It's that instant. So you really never know. But yeah, so that's a really cool little lesson. Yes. Hold on, let's see. I can't see names. I do see a hand up though.
Hey Haley, it's Sahil. Great to see you again.
Hi, good to see you too. How are you?
Good. Thank you for the presentation. Quick question. So you, of course, have your own audience as an influencer. You post content for them, and you also have your own audience for One With. You have your own brand voice there.
Yes.
So right now, Samir and I are trying to figure out, as we're starting to build a base of early adopters, the thing that we think we can take the most advantage of is talking about the space we're in. So that is media, journalism, talking about emerging trends, where the field is going.
Yeah.
And so, one thing we were thinking of doing is writing a blog post or writing short little articles about the state of the, of media right now.
Mm-hmm.
What do you recommend, like, if we were to write an article, to write on our own Medium pages and then repost it through our company page, or should we be writing it together through like one voice through our company's page?
That's a really, so you're saying when you say through your own voices, you mean what?
Like individually. So I have my own Medium page where I'll write blog posts.
I see what you're saying.
Would you recommend that I continue to write on my page and then repost it through our company's page?
I'm trying to think about this because that's actually a really heavy SEO question. I'm thinking about it from an SEO perspective. And I'm not an SEO expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm thinking I don't know, because articles get republished all the time. Like Associated Press, you know this, I don't have to, Associated Press picks up the identical wording that Channel 8 did. I think that it can probably only help to it's not called backlinking through your own website, whatever it's called, like interlinking through your own website. So I think that if you guys as the founders post the same thing separately, and then do sort of a conjoined, I'm just trying to think. I think it should be the same exact like wording though, because that's, I think, where SEO would, that's an SEO question, but do you get what I'm kind of hinting at? Okay.
Yep.
That's my initial thought, but I would do some researching to see if that would hurt or help you. You know what I mean? If there's, especially because it would be on the same platform. Mm-hmm. But words on Google like that are never a bad thing.
Okay.
So I hope that helps.
Yep, definitely. Thank you.
Of course.
I think that question immediately sparks a question for me. When you think about Haley, you are you as an influencer. People know you, follow you, and look to you for certain types of content. And when you're posting on One With, you're a different version of you, right? Like different hats. I think almost Sahil's question to me made me think of like, what do you cross promote between the two when you're Haley, influencer Haley, versus Haley, CEO, founder of One With Haley, and how can you like maximize and utilize both platforms to leverage?
Yeah, that's something I'm still navigating, because it's like, I feel like all I've posted since we launched is like One With stuff, because that's my life. So it's like, I don't want to say I don't have other things to share. Of course I do, but the only things I want to share are about the business. So honestly, anytime that there's like an asset I really like a graphic or something, I'll repost, I'll post it on my own personal. I think I'm so bad. I haven't posted on my own page in almost a month. The last thing I posted, Jen, was Jen and I's interview
I
on
saw
Channel 8. That was the last thing I have up. So as you can see, I'm being great at being a content creator. All of my efforts are going to One With, so it's not for nothing. But you know, I think it's just really when I like something, and again, that I choose to sort of share on my own platform. But again, I knew that my audience was interested in me for doing the little daily vlogs that I used to do back in the day, for doing Amazon videos, for doing Amazon Live, for talking about, you know, bridal mistakes that people make. I knew that they'd be like, oh, she launched a product, and then probably be like, meh. You know what I'm saying? The people who would capture that and be interested would be interested, and of course convert. But I knew that as a founder, I don't want to be a thought leader. I don't want to be like a content creator in that capacity. So I knew I just wasn't gonna drive that home. But yeah, basically I post when I really like something One With related.
Nice. Yeah, and Kate put something great in the chat, and I almost utilized the term thought leader as well. So that was a great additive in there, that it depends, I think, really on the type of business you're creating. If you're a service-based company, right, and like your expertise is what you're selling, you probably should be delivering and designing content that's related to you sitting in a seat with that area of expertise, and your company can share elements of that and vice versa. But I like that concept of thought leader for sure.
Yeah, and again, that was something, and I just saw that in the chat. That was something I knew this juncture I don't want. I've been doing the YouTube thing for so long, and you know, I feel like there's kind of a little bit of that there, that I just really want to take a backseat. I don't need this to be like the One With and like me as the founder show. I really just want it to be like, I just want to focus on the product. But I think that a great way to build your credibility and build your brand's credibility is through that thought leadership method. If that's something you want to do, but that also, now you're doubling down, because it's like you're having to be consistent as a thought leader and that content, and also being consistent as a brand. So just kind of choose your angle, and just make sure you want to commit to sort of like both of those things.
Yeah. Awesome. Great. Well, are there any other questions, thoughts for Haley before we wrap up? And I appreciate, Haley, that you gave everyone your email address. So if anyone has any questions, hopefully you go over to Haley's social platforms and her website and check out everything that she's created. I continuously am impressed with everything that she builds and has continued to build over the last couple of years. So please follow her if you get the chance. If anyone has any additional thoughts or questions, you can also send them to us at CCEI. So Michaela, if you want to throw our CCEI email address in the chat as well. And then Haley, is there one last slide beneath this last one for you?
Yes, I think it might be
for us. I mean,
CCEI.
because I just want to announce that we have our upcoming timely topics, and it's a little, the formatting is a little off here, but so Ryan Gresh, who actually Haley mentioned in the presentation this evening, he is going to be joining us talking about riding the roller coaster of entrepreneurship. So a lot about grit, resilience, what it takes to overcome the hurdles in this roller coaster ride that some of us are on, and starting, growing, and launching a company. So please feel free to join us next Wednesday at 5 o'clock. There's a link to RSVP if you'd like to, just so you can get the link to join the Zoom. So thank you so much, Haley, for joining us this evening, and thank you everyone for attending. Hopefully we'll see you at the next Timely Topics on February 23rd. Have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.